Hi, I'm Mark Malloy from the law firm of Meissner, Tierney, Fisher, and Nichols. I'm a trial lawyer who practices in the area of commercial litigation with an emphasis in employment law. One of the most frequent questions an employment lawyer gets is that inevitable call from a client that says, hey, we're ready to let somebody go, or we've made the decision to downsize, or I've been having a problem with an employee for several years and I just can't live with it anymore. There's one of two things that client is hoping to accomplish. They're hoping to avoid litigation altogether, or if litigation is inevitable, they're looking to minimize the risk of that litigation. Here are a few tips that you can follow from hiring to termination to make sure that exposure is limited. Let's talk about the hiring process. The best thing you can do to avoid problems down the road is to hire good people. That's an easy thing to say, sometimes not an easy thing to do. Not every employer has a crystal ball where they can see the problems that an employee may encounter both in and out of the workplace that's going to affect their ability to perform in the workplace. First, vet your candidates well. Make sure you call those references they give you. Don't let them just sit in a file. Secondly, hire people that are going to succeed in the setting you're going to put them in. Don't just look at the resume. Don't just look at their past job experience. What you want to do is anticipate what they're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. Inform your interview questions accordingly. Have they supervised people before? Have they worked in group settings before, if they're going to work in group settings for you? Simple questions like that in an interview process are going to avoid problems down the road that could lead to a nasty termination. Having talked about the hiring process, let's talk about the day-to-day supervision of the employee. The best defense to any wrongful termination suit is a well-documented story that shows, yes, this person had problems. Yes, we tried to help this person, but unfortunately, we just couldn't make it work. The key to that is documentation of the personnel file to make sure that you show you did a thorough investigation of any problems, that you documented all of those problems, and that you showed, most importantly, what you did to try to alleviate those problems throughout the employment. The next step in the day-to-day supervision is a good evaluation of that employee throughout their employment. There's nothing worse as an employment lawyer to have a client come to you and say, I've had problems with this particular employee for years, but then you open up the personnel file and you see reviews after reviews that say, this was a good employee, he was doing a great job. The key is three things. First, have a standardized review form. Make sure that review form, that supervisor is filling out that standardized review form and doing that in a timely fashion. Make sure they are giving objective and honest evaluations of the employee. It's not always easy to do that, but in the best interest of your company and the employee, it's best that the supervisor do an honest, objective, and thorough completion of that review process. That's not always an easy thing to do, but it's a must to have in order for you to have proper documentation of a lawsuit that may come down the pike. If you've made the decision that you need to downsize, take a step back and perform an analysis of the downsize. Are there quantifiable factors that you based your decision on? For instance, seniority, performance data. Does the effect of the downsizing disproportionately affect any particular class? People over 40, females, minorities. Before you make the decision to downsize, understand the effect of that downsize. That will go a long way towards avoiding any litigation in the future. Last, you've made that difficult decision to terminate the employee. What can you do to make sure that meeting goes the way you want it to? The key is be prepared for the termination. Make sure you have more than one person at the termination meeting, and make sure at that termination meeting that you clearly and concisely let the employee know each and every reason that he or she is being let go. Be prepared to offer them what they're entitled to on their way out the door, whether that is PTO, whether that is sick days, whether that is vacation days. Make sure you have that in front of you so that you can clearly and concisely give that information to the employee. Last, let the employee talk during the termination meeting. This is going to be a tough day for them. Let them get their frustrations out and let them tell you from their perspective what they think went wrong with the relationship. Make sure you document that meeting. Not only so you know what's going to be said in the future, but maybe it could avoid a future problem with another employee down the line. If you have any termination issues, please feel free to call us at Meissner, Tierney, Fisher, and Nichols. We're always available to help.